forgot my camera at work, so I'm on a webcam.
Oh, wow.
So it probably looks super different to you. You didn't notice.
I mean, I noticed now that you say that, it looks terrible.
Yeah, everything's like in focus. It's hyper saturated. I don't know how to change any of that. So,
you want things out of focus. You want the
you like what's called depth of field, right? So you like a soft blur in the back, sharp in the eyes.
Put like a woman's nylon or over the lens.
Just make it a little misty yourself.
Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. It's Hey Watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hey Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
I'm Tony.
On this show, we watch a movie. It's the Halloween month. We, of course, missed 1 week of Halloween month or something. I think we screwed it up.
I screwed it. So let's set the record straight. On air, Dan, you asked me what the schedule was, and I was totally off by a whole week. So we did 1 week in October that was not a horror movie, and I feel terrible about it. And I thought that maybe you weren't going to notice, to be honest with you, so I didn't bring it back up. But that was like 3 weeks ago now to us.
Yeah, so we're going to have to do Horror November also, so...
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's going to be good. We'll make it up to you.
We'll make it up to you. So each week we're watching a movie that might be described in some fashion as a horror
classified
movie or scary movie.
It's got the classification on your internet site, whatever it is, be it Vudu, Hulu. It'll be in the horror genre.
And the thing I've found is when we do horror movies or scary movies, they typically aren't horrific or scary.
I mean, yeah, the ones we do on here, usually they're just very, very funny. So, like Mikey.
So, Tony, yes, why don't you talk a little something about the movie
I tipped a bit.
You picked?
I'm out of practice. We skipped a week, and now I'm a little loosey-goosey. Yeah. But this was a fan suggestion. I shouldn't call Todd a fan. I should call him a friend. A friend suggestion from Todd. This movie is wild. It's called Mikey, and it's about, I guess, a child serial killer type of deal.
The classification is typically a bad seed, and this is a terrible child,
like Damon.
Damon?
Yeah, isn't Damon from The Omen? Is that?
You mean Damien?
Damien, yeah. Damon is from the Vampire Diaries.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Damien, kind of a bad... Yeah, actually, he was a bad seed. There's a movie called The Bad Seed. There's a bunch of them.
Oh, wow, on the nose. And we watched another one, Dan, called The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood, which I'll talk about at some point.
And one of them was a terrible, terrible person, right?
Macaulay Culkin, and he is creepy.
That's probably where he needed to be, right? You have your whole Tony theory of Macaulay Culkin that he's broken as a child.
Well, it's interesting because Mikey, like whoever this kid is, not creepy, right? Not creepy in the slightest.
This kid is menace level 0,
right? But Macaulay Culkin, with his dead eyes and his slightly weird shaped face, like he is creepy. The whole movie, you're like, there's something wrong with this kid. We gotta get rid of him. So it's just interesting to see like how much the child makes a difference in a movie like this.
This movie from 1992, hour and 27 minutes. They have the kid who's somebody, right? Brian Bonesall.
I'm sure he worked a bunch back in the day,
He did all sorts of things. Not a scary kid. They don't have him place. I mean, he kills people a bit, but he doesn't. Yeah. You never like what the hell's this kid's problem? You're always like, oh, here's a kid, and then he just decides to kill people when he's like mildly angry.
He says a joke when he gets upset and then kills somebody, which I appreciate. I like it. But it's just, it's not creepy. It doesn't give me the feeling of dread.
Now, that's the thing. That's going to be my question is, you always talk about, I like horror movies because I like how they do the kills. And this movie, certainly, the kills are entertaining.
They're funny.
But, I mean, are most horror movies where you just have funny kills and it's not scary? It's just like, oh.
I mean, it depends. It totally depends. If you 90s movies, the popular ones, yes, is very much like they're not scary. Like, you're not scared. There's some jump scares because that was like a big thing. Is like you jump scare, but the movie itself isn't really scary.
Sure,
it's fun. Like, we're having a good time watching people be scared, and that's exciting. Like, I Know What You Did Last Summer is not a scary movie by, I would say, any means, but super fun, and I love it. Not everybody likes it. When you look at horror movies today, they're all messed up. Like, we've gone into a place where it's like we're going darker in the mind, so they're creepy, but I don't find them relatively fun. So I enjoy horror movies less now than I did like a long time ago. There's some fun ones still that happen,
Now,
and I enjoy like the new Scream movies because they still have like the fun poppiness to them, but they're a little bit edgier than they used to be. It's we're going through a transformation, I think, in horror.
Now, did you watch that movie Barbarian?
Yeah, Justin Long. Sure, that movie was fucked up.
Now, you see, that movie was both scary and creepy and kind of fun. I thought it was fun.
Exactly.
I thought it had everything for me.
That's the balance that I like.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but the movie Talk to Me, did we ever talk about that?
That was the spooky hand one?
Yeah, the spooky hand. Like, zero fun in that movie, right? It's a well-made movie, and it's scarring emotionally and mentally. Don't care for it. Like, I watched it one time. I was like, wow, that's a well-made film. I will never watch that movie again in my entire life because I had zero fun, and I like to have a good time.
So you don't like a disturbing horror movie that just wants to disturb you and unsettle you and make you walk out of the theater unhappy.
Life does that all on its own, Dan. I don't need a movie to do that. But, a movie that I do enjoy, Disturbia. You remember that movie? Shia LaBeouf.
Is that like where he's looking out the window?
Yeah, it's a Rear Window type of movie.
I saw it.
Super fun. Okay. Super fun, kind of silly, kind of dark. Great. That's an every year movie for us.
I just remember it being kind of stupid. That's what I thought.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, it doesn't make sense. Not all the way through.
Got it.
But I don't think they care. You know what I mean? Like, we're having a good time. We bend the rules a little bit to make things more exciting, and I allow it.
Yeah, because I like that one with the super hot babysitter. Was that called The Babysitter? And then
it was called The Babysitter, and that movie's a 10 out of 10.
That movie was great. You're like, okay,
I love it.
It's fun, but she's psycho, so it's sort of scary. But the kid is effective, and people get killed, and you're like, oh,
that's like a perfect example of a movie that I still enjoy. That I feel like could have been made in the earlier 2000s. You know what I mean?
Got it.
The vibe of it, and I love it. And Robbie Amell runs around with his shirt off, making jokes the whole time as he kills. It's great. It's a great movie.
And so, what about Mikey?
I loved Mikey. We had an absolute blast with Mikey. It is hilarious. That's pretty much it. It's very fun. We had a great time. And then, so we watched that and The Good Son back to back. Good Son, not fun. Right, this it's twisted. It's not fun, but it's not the same kind of movie. So it's fun to get both perspectives. But Mikey's great. I would watch Mikey again.
I found it just abysmally boring. Just like, oh my god,
you didn't like his one-liners?
Well, the thing you want to realize about Mikey is you got 5 minutes of mayhem at the beginning. Then you got about an hour and 10 minutes of nothing.
The in between.
Then you got 10 minutes at the end where you're like, okay.
I mean, the pacing of this movie is crazy, Dan, because I feel like it's very rare that in a horror movie you come out the gate and you know exactly who the killer is, you know what their plan is, and then you're just like, and now we're gonna go do it a second time. Nothing changes. It's the exact, like the first 8 minutes of this movie is the exact same story as the next hour and a half of this movie. And that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So
I love it.
I just was like, oh my God, there's just like more, they would just have like weird scenes that like didn't add up to anything, They don't
add up, but there's some funny stuff in them, Dan. I feel like you missed it.
No, I saw the whole movie. I didn't miss anything.
I'm not saying you didn't see the movie. I think that you were too upset to fully enjoy the craziness that ensues in the next 1 hour of this movie that makes literally zero sense.
Upset? You'd have to have me engaged to make me upset. The key word is bored. Just like, okay, well, okay. They know that he's a psychopath, and they're sort of trying to prove it. And they he's a psychopath. He's a psychopath, and they're like, and why do you think he's a psychopath? I just think he's a psychopath.
I just get the feeling. I just feel it. He gives me that vibe. And also, I mean, how can you not love a movie where a 9-year-old kid is able to just out strength all of the adults? He's 9. This movie should be 8 seconds long. At most, he should murder one person, and then the next person just hits him in the face and he's down. That's it. That should be the end of the movie. But I love that it's not.
You love that it's not. So we start with here's Mikey with his adopted sister. So he's with a new family. Yeah. So he's with
his first. Yeah.
So he's with another family. I'm not sure why you would adopt a kid that's older than a kid you just had, because the daughter's younger.
Are you sure that they adopt him, Dan? Because here's the thing.
He just wandered into the house.
Listen, the movie later talks about how they don't know where he came from. And there's no adoption papers from the first adoption.
Oh, okay.
And they're all like, I didn't know he was adopted. He hasn't said, but there should be a paper trail of adoption here. It sounds like they just took the kid in from the street. I don't know.
Might have been one of those, what was her, Jessica Smart, where they just grabbed him and kept him.
Oh my! Is this a real life scenario?
I think that's her name. I think it was Jessica Smart.
Man.
Oh no, that thing's crazy. They stole this girl, and then started raising her, and they finally found them. 5 years later, 6 years later, and they're just they're walking on the street, and they're like, oh no, she doesn't talk. I think. Oh man, that's one of those crazy stories.
This is exactly why I like fun horror movies. Real life is so much darker than I want my horror movies to be.
Oh yeah, like that other one a couple years ago where the guy had women trapped in the building, and then one of them finally gets out and runs to the next door neighbors, and they're all like, "Wait, you were in that building?" And then there's 2 other girls in there that the guy's been keeping in there. How do these people do it? You're always amazed.
How do they do it?
We could barely keep the tires on the car. They're keeping multiple people locked up, and
I can barely feed myself 3 times a day. Okay, I don't know how I'm keeping people prisoner for years at a time.
How do you do that? So boom, he's sitting there. He's burning stuff in the middle of the room. The little girl is sitting there next to him. It looks like he's burning letters. So I was like,
that's what it looks like.
Interesting. We're going to find out why he's burning these letters.
No, it was just the safest thing to burn on set that day.
The mom, stepmom, mom of the house busts in. You're trying to kill us. You're doing this again. You're like, wait, again? So I'm like, this is a lot of backloading and backstory that we're never going to find out about.
He's clearly not trying to kill them, though, right? He's burning the papers in a relatively safe receptacle. It's containing the flame.
I don't know about.
I'm a little confused.
I think he's just burning it on the floor. I thought it was on the floor.
I thought it was in a paper tray, but maybe you're right.
I thought it was just on the middle of the floor. The other little girl is sitting there. And you're feeling like she's complicit. You don't feel like she does not look like she's there against her will. It seems like she's part of the whole thing. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And this is exactly why I believe she needed to die. I'm on Mikey's side.
Okay.
Because in the next scene, the mom is like, hey, why'd you do that? Mikey's like, she told me to. And then the sister clearly is lying when she tells the mom she didn't have anything to do with it. Because I agree with you, Dan. She looks like she's into it in the first scene. I think that she's totally bad as well. Then as she lies to the mom, Mikey gets hit in the face. And I was like, yeah, he's got to kill the sister. He's got to get rid of her.
Now, did you know kids that were firebugs when you were a kid?
Thank goodness I did not. Okay. I was afraid of fire. I did not enjoy fire whatsoever.
You were afraid of fire?
Fire's hot, man. It's so hot. I don't like it. That shouldn't be that weird.
Hold on a second. What do you mean you're afraid of fire?
To this day, Dan, when we do bonfires, everyone has. So we do these beach bonfires because, we're pampered, spoiled brats. But we do beach bonfires in Huntington Beach. If you haven't done it, I would recommend it. Super fun, not cheap. But they set up chairs in a circle, right? That are all equal around the fire. The first thing I do is I pull my chair back 5 feet.
Hold on, you pay people to set this up for you?
Yeah. Because what, am I going to build my own fire? Come on, I don't know how to do that, Dan.
You get wooden gears.
I'm not a woodsman.
Okay.
I don't know how to build a fire. I know how to put gasoline on a fire.
You should never put gasoline on a fire.
This is why I'm not allowed to do it, Dan.
So you pull your chair back 5 feet?
At least 5 feet. I got to be because what if the wind changes, Dan? What if the wind changes? All of a sudden the fire's in my face. I need separation. And yeah, then you don't get the warmth of the fire. But is that really necessary? I don't think so. I don't like fire.
So you didn't know any firebugs? That's what you're saying?
Sorry, no, I did not know any firebugs. Did you? You were one, weren't you?
Oh no, well, little. No, I mean I wasn't.
I burned 3-4 houses tops. I don't know.
But I remember like one of my childhood friends, one of my junior high friends, talked about some guy they knew. And he always was getting caught making fires, and he'd go to the park and do fires. And, this kid was just like, he was into it.
Did you ever follow up?
No.
I would love to know where he is now.
No, but
jail. He's in jail, Dan. I'll just tell you that right now.
I think they're out there. I think the firebug kids are out there.
I think they're out. Of course they are. There's a lot of crazy people. So I shouldn't say crazy.
So he gets smacked. So Mikey steals the sister Beth's doll, and then goes out on the he threw it in the pool, but he
eventually throws it in the pool. Let me set this scene because this feels like the most dangerous thing they do in the whole movie. They have some weird design in their backyard, I would say, where there's like water patches and then like planks that go between them of concrete.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird design, and these kids are like sprinting full bore through these. I was like, I can't even believe they did this on set. This is not safe. These kids could slip easily and crack their face on the concrete. Anyhow, they make it through. The 90s were a crazy time, Dan.
So you're like, you're like too much horseplay. Is that what you're doing?
Way too much horseplay. And they were being told to do it. That's in real life. They were like, yeah, just run through these cobwebs of concrete. You're probably not going to slip and die. I didn't feel like it was very safe.
Are you afraid of water too?
I'm not. I love water. It's the antithesis of fire. Okay. I love water.
Just checking.
I don't like the ocean, though. Have we talked about that? Afraid of the ocean. Won't go in it.
Will you stand in the ocean like up to like?
Nope. Will not touch the ocean water. No, thank you.
What's wrong with the ocean?
So, first of all, everything. There are creatures in there that we've probably never even seen, okay? You don't know what's lurking in the dark. But also jellyfish. Hate jellyfish. My mom got stung by a jellyfish once in Cocoa Beach? I don't know, somewhere. And I was like, well, that's no good. And then I was taking pictures of my brother surfing. Have I told you this?
No.
And I was taking pictures. I was in the ocean. This is the last time I was ever in the ocean. I was taking pictures. A wave came, hit me. I tumbled, tore my meniscus, couldn't get out of the water. My brother had a fireman carry me out of the water. And look at this body, Dan. And let me tell you, my brother, not like me. He's not as big as me. I can't believe this was like the mother lifting a car, but he picks me up, fireman carries me, throws me on the beach, had to have surgery, never been in the ocean since. That was like 10 years ago.
10 years ago? So not very...
Probably more, because I think it was actually before I moved out here.
Oh, okay.
So it was probably more like 12, 15.
Oh, so this is a late in life true fear then.
Late in life, real fear, will not go into the ocean. Never again.
When I was a kid, we were at this pool party, and I guess I didn't know how to swim. And
that's a bad start. You shouldn't be at a pool, Dan.
I was in the pool, and I think I almost drowned.
Of course, you don't know how to swim. Of course you almost drowned. Who is watching you, Dan?
I don't know.
This is what I'm talking about. We parents back then were loosey-goosey.
But, I'm not afraid of water.
Okay, Mr. Tough Guy, I'm going to throw you in the deep end. See how that goes.
I'm a little afraid of heights now, though.
Afraid of heights? Understandable. I'm afraid of gravity. Not afraid of heights necessarily, because there's people that, like, they step to the edge of a cliff and they look down, they're like, oh, I'm scared. I'm not scared of that. But like bungee jumping, climbing a rope, I'm not going to do any of that because at some point it's going to snap because I'm 300 pounds and I'm going to fall faster than everybody else. And I understand what people say that like, oh, everything falls at the same rate or whatever the feather thing is. It's bullshit. I'm going to fall faster and I'm going to explode on the concrete.
Well, I mean, a feather goes slower because it has a bunch of wind resistance and all that, right?
But it was like, isn't there the thing that's like, what falls faster, a pound of feathers or a pound of something else, something like that?
The point is, well, you have terminal velocity, right? So if you throw a penny off the Empire State Building, it doesn't kill somebody.
I regret this decision immediately. Continue.
It doesn't kill somebody when it gets to the ground. So it doesn't just keep going faster. There's like a maximum velocity. Might hurt. Yeah, it might hurt a little bit, but it doesn't keep going. It doesn't keep increasing in volume. But yeah,
sure. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, a pound of this and a pound of that are going to fall. Same.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to fall faster because I'm more pounds than everybody else.
Yeah, but you'll reach maximum velocity. You still get killed, but
and kill anyone else below me. I'm not a penny.
So Mikey lures her out on the diving board, then bounces it till she falls in, then stands there and watches her drown while mom is upstairs with the bubble bath.
Yep.
And I'm like, the mom's naked. And I'm like, and then later we have like a little bit of nudity. And you're just like,
yeah, we do.
You're just like, what? If you're not going to, I don't understand.
Are you upset because they did it for one bath scene and not the other?
And like the other girl, the young girl, you're like, we don't see her nude either. It's like
the older sister. Yeah.
It's like weird.
Yeah. It's just the new mom. I don't get it, but
So he goes up there, mom's in the bath. And then she's on the phone and she does a whole adopting you was a mistake. He had cut off the phone. Then
So again, are you against her being murdered? Because I'm kind of not. I'm like, yeah, she's awful. Let's kill her.
I mean, I don't think she should be killed, but she certainly.
Sure, I understand in real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in a horror movie, these are the things that make it okay for these characters to die. Like in horror movies, we like to start by like letting you know that the people that die first are bad.
Sure.
So you don't care as much. And then later we'll care about the main characters because they're better people.
So now with the sleepaway camps and all the Halloweens and all those stupid movies.
Oh my God. First of all, I love that Sleepaway Camp was the first one you thought of.
Well, that's their camp, the camp ones.
That movie's so crazy.
And they all
do you know Sleepaway Camp?
I've heard of it.
Do you know how it ends?
Probably with all the people getting killed except the one hot
Oh my
girl.
God. No, Dan, you need to watch Do me one favor this October. Watch the original Sleepaway Camp. The end, you're going to hate it. It's a terrible movie. It's terribly made. It's very boring. The end twist is unbelievable.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Please do. I can't tell you what it is because I'll ruin it. That's the only good part of the movie. Anyhow, continue. Sorry.
Setting me up by saying it's very boring is the exact wrong way to entice me to watch something.
But I want you to know. I don't want you to go into it thinking that I think it's great. You know what I mean? I'm trying to set your expectation of my taste because the ending makes everything worth it.
Okay.
It's so good. It's so funny. But it's not a great movie.
So Mikey,
but what was your question?
Plugs in. I don't know what my question is. Plugs in the hairdryer, throws it in the bath, kills the mom.
Hold on, though, Tim.
Yeah.
He throws the hairdryer. She catches it.
Oh, did she catch it?
It doesn't go in the water. She catches it perfectly fine above her head. It's totally dry, and yet somehow it starts electrocuting her as she's holding it. That's not how any of that works.
That is not. I can attest to this. That is not how it works.
Dan's blow drying his hair in the bath all the time. It's fine.
It's very true. Boom. He sets out some big ball bearings. Don't know where he got those.
Yeah.
Dad comes home, sees the dead body, slips on one of the balls.
Wait, Dan. They show the daughter floating in the pool.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
1,000,000 to 1. That's a Cabbage Patch doll.
Oh.
It looks so much like a Cabbage Patch. Like, we paused it. We were looking at it. It is a Cabbage Patch doll floating in the pool. 10 out of 10. It's glorious.
That's the kind of special effects you got to have in a movie like this.
So good. So funny.
Spend $19.99 on, well, they might have been more expensive at that point. Champions Balls, not
I
cheap.
think they were a big deal.
Not
yeah,
cheap.
they were pretty good.
Slips on the ball bearings, goes through the glass wall, the glass door.
The glass door. It doesn't make any sense.
Then Mikey comes out with a bat and beats him to death while filming it.
Bludgeons him in the head. Yeah. Probably the best death of the film, I think.
That's pretty good. I mean,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good because he's 9 and he says something like, what does he call him? Champ or something? I can't remember. I don't know if I wrote it down or not, but he has a hell of a one-liner when he beats, see ya, champ. I did write it down. He's holding the bat. He goes, see ya, champ. And then just bludgeons his dad to death. Great stuff.
Stepdad. We do a little.
Thank you.
We do a little bit with the police. Mikey they find the mom. Mikey's in the closet, and he sort of says there was a dude with a bushy hair and a red jacket who drove away in a car. Nothing was stolen.
Really thought that was going to come back later.
No.
Nope. Like we just kind of let it go. That's super weird.
Psychologist has him in there playing in the dollhouse. He talks about the stranger and how he hates that man. And the psychologist is like, I'm fooled by this small child.
You're cured.
No, it's not cured.
I don't know.
He's doing an analyzation of the kid, right? He's psychoanalyzing him to see if he could have done it or, and somehow this kid that's this young knows how to like fool.
He outsmarts all of the psychologists in this movie.
Yes.
There's a couple, I think there's like 2 or 3, and he outsmarts every single one.
Well, we do set up at some point later that he's very, very smart.
Smartest kid in the world, yeah. Which is, scary. That's a scary trait. The smarter you are, the more dangerous you are.
Look at me.
Look at you, dangerous man alive.
Boom, they do a report. He's traumatized. Get him a new family. The mom that just died has a sister. We bring her in there, and they're like, you should take this kid. And she's all like, he's adopted. He's abused. And they're like, you're all he has. And she's all like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah.
We never see her again, right?
Never again. She's brought up one more time in the movie, but you'd never see her again.
Why would you take the time
is that in the movie?
This actress?
Who cares? Just
we got to show that
does not matter at all.
He's really not liked. Okay.
Yeah. Does she know that he's crazy? Like, if that's your point, if she's like, no, he's the devil, and everyone's like, oh no, he's not. Maybe that's something. It's still dumb, but this has no bearing on the story whatsoever.
She's actually the craziest person in the movie. The way she acts.
Right about that. Yeah.
Boom. He gets picked up by the Trentons at the airport. A couple. They bring him a baseball glove. It's Neil and Rachel. And we set up, you get your joke. He's like, you like baseball? He's like, do you like to pitch? And he's like, I'm a better hitter. How much did you laugh at that line, Tony?
I laughed a lot on a lot of lines, Dan. I'm not going to lie. There's some really nice one-liners in this movie. If the rest of the dialogue was as good as the one-liners were, this might have been a really good movie.
They get home. He meets Miss Owens, who's... so it's the next door neighbor, the teacher? No, the teacher's the best friend. There's also the next door neighbor. So the next door neighbor is Mrs. Owens. Her son is Ben, who has the weirdest looking face. He's the kid from Jurassic Park, the one that Alan Grant does the raptor thing to in the beginning of the movie. You don't remember it? He's the main kid in Jurassic Park with the little girl. Oh, God. No. Sorry, that was rude. No. He's the kid at the very beginning when they're at the dig site, and he's like, oh, it's just a big bird. Who cares? And then Alan Grant takes his raptor claw, and he's like, it'll cut you here and here. I don't know. It's just it's what I know him from. Yeah, I think I saw that movie when it came out. I don't think I ever saw it again. Wait, are you not a Jurassic Park fan? I love Jurassic Park. No. No, you don't. I mean, okay. Yeah. I saw it when it came out and I liked it. Okay, well, what I'm saying is Jurassic Park is good. We watched one for this show and it was really bad.
Yeah. No, the original Jurassic Park is really good. The other ones are silly.
Her best friend is.
I still enjoy them.
Her best friend is Sean. I don't know. Do we ever figure out how that's spelled?
No.
There it is.
Nope. Definitely not.
She's your teacher. Then we spend time with Mikey obsessing over the fish.
Yep. Is there a psychological thing that I'm missing with the fish? I have no idea.
Well, it is the fish we used later in the weirdest scene of the movie.
Sure.
They go to bed. They talk about how great Mikey is, and then they make out. Okay.
This is, Dan,
yeah.
We got to talk. This is the worst on-screen kiss we have seen on this show.
Since the Love Guru?
I'm telling you right now, this is worse. Oh, wow. I don't know if you were paying attention. I watched it multiple times. No attention. She is not into this at all.
Okay.
I'm going to posit a theory that these two actors hated each other.
Okay.
This is how the kiss goes. So this is her end. She opens her mouth like a fish and does not move. He, on the other hand, grabs her by the neck and does this. Now, I'm going to pretend this. He just does this. And just rubs his mouth all over her mouth. There's no kissing involved. He's just mashing his lips on her lips, and she is not moving at all. She is dead. It is the most awkward kiss I've ever seen on screen.
So, pretty hot.
I was totally aroused. Yes.
Mikey, we have a scene of Mikey playing with his toys.
Yeah, great.
We go
Love it. Kids are kids.
We go to Indian Guides where we do bow practice, and
which is not okay.
He's a natural. The interesting thing about the bow practice with Indian Guides, I don't know if you noticed this, but one of the guys is shooting a bow with hunting arrows.
I actually did notice that.
You're just like, you would not be practicing with hunting arrows around a bunch of kids.
Not there.
Because a kid would pick that up and then he'd like shoot a pigeon or he'd shoot his friend in the foot or something terrible.
It's that one. He's not shooting a pigeon, Dan. He's shooting another kid.
No kid in the world back in the 80s or the 90s would have any access to, I mean, if they did, that parent would be going to jail because those things are terrible.
Super, super scary. Yeah.
Now, did you know people that bow hunted?
My uncle is actually a huge bow hunter. Loves it. Still today.
And did he use those terrible, inflicted all sorts of grievous wounds?
He has a crazy collection.
Oh, wow.
Like, he has everything ranging from, like, the most basic, like, similar to what the kids read, like, because it depends on what level of challenge you want for the day.
Sure.
Right? So the more basic you go, the harder the game actually is. But he's obsessed with it. He did competitions of, like, bullseyes. I don't even know what that's called. Archery? Is that just what archery is?
Archery's called archery. You got it.
But yeah, so he's got ones with like scopes on it and stuff. Like, he's got some toys.
I think
it's weird.
I think one of Shannon's uncles was a like senior Olympics or something. Like real.
Oh yeah.
He was like a real
put it to good use at least.
Yeah.
Went to the Olympics. Sure.
I don't know. I think maybe it's just senior national championships.
No, he's an Olympic gold medalist for sure.
He's not an Olympic gold. So he's a natural, and we're like, someone's dying by bow. Even though we've watched the trailer, we know someone dies by bow.
We know. Yeah.
First day of school, he's there. We learn about marble time. Why don't you talk about marble time, Tony?
I'm not sure that I can because I don't understand it. Apparently if you do something good, you put a marble in a container and eventually something happens where you get a prize.
Well, I mean, it happens.
I don't get it.
It happens in the show.
It does happen, but even I watched it and I was like, I don't understand what's going on.
So basically,
because it looks like it just one marble fell out. Couldn't you just put it on the other thing?
Well,
I don't know.
That when the marble falls out, you're like, why did you have the marble? So basically, that's what I'm saying. There's a thing when it reaches a certain weight of marbles, so each day when something good happens, you put a marble in there. Then when it gets to a certain point, it pushes down and it has this little Rube Goldberg machine.
The chain reaction,
And then a door opens and then there's a prize, which I guess goes to the kid who put that marble in.
The last marble. Yeah, not all the other kids that put marbles in over the year. like they've been building it up. You just happen to get lucky. That's not a great way to teach kids.
And there are hundreds and hundreds of marbles in this.
There's so many marbles.
It's not like 20. It's like 200. So
yeah, this is like 6 years in the making.
Now, when you were a kid in school, did you guys have like the star system where you'd get gold stars and you would build them up on a chart and then something would happen? I think, I don't know. Did something happen?
Yeah, we used to get bookmarks. I don't know. I don't know what other people did, but like you get so many stars, you would get like a bookmark, which is I loved them because I was a huge Scholastic Book Fair fan.
Oh, look at you!
That's best. Those were the best days of the year, man. Oh, I love the book fair.
Now, did you save all your little things? Or throw them away?
I threw most of them away, but I did keep all of my Goosebumps books. I have almost the entire collection at home at my parents' house.
Are they all worn because you've read them so many times?
It's
mint
funny
condition because you've never read them.
It depends on where you are in the spectrum. Like the first 20 to 30 are all well worn and like obviously I loved them, but I kept collecting them and read them less and less and less. And there's some that it looks like I've never even opened, but I bought them.
Nice.
I don't know.
Nice. It's a perfect
story of my life.
Perfect way to collect. Boom, boom, boom. Marble time. And then they leave. They take the shortcut through the cemetery. Ben's dad is dead, I guess. And
I guess
he gets sort of angry about that and sort of get back at Ben. He acts like he lays on a grave and acts like he's dead.
Yeah, I don't know. The kid's clearly got mental problems, man.
The new parents look at a drawing he did and try to understand what's going on in his brain.
Yeah, which is, by the way, the drawing is his dead sister in a pool, right?
Oh, was it? I didn't understand that. I couldn't make out what that drawing was.
It's a pool with a girl floating in it, and they were like, "Oh, someone swimming means this," and I was like, "That girl's not swimming, guys. She dead. That's a Cabbage Patch doll in a pool." So
there's once I don't remember this scene. There's a frog that Ben has, and then the cat gets the frog or something. There's like some weird frog stuff that goes on.
Chases the frog. I don't think it ever gets it, but I guess I'm not totally sure. There might be a different frog later, but he definitely has a frog later as well.
Yeah. Then
hard to be sure.
Then we do marble time again, and Mikey tries to cheat at it, and he gets lectured about cheating.
Now, we don't really see him cheat any other time, right?
This just
I didn't really understand this.
Because we're trying to set up pathology that she sees that will lead her to think he's a problem.
She's the one that figures it out. Okay.
Yeah, because she's the one. And she's like, you got to tell your folks you're a big cheater. And he's all like, yeah.
Okay, I'll totally do it.
And then he never really gets in. We're like, oh, in a real movie, he'd get in trouble for not telling, but it doesn't really happen.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Then at the zoo, he sees Gorilla. He helps some lady who leaves her purse behind. And so now his parents think he's great.
He's a saint. I just want to say the soundtrack at the zoo is wrong. The music is bumping. We are having party music and nothing's happening at the zoo. They're just looking at animals. Super weird. I don't know. That was it. It's the only musical choice that I noticed in the movie, and I noticed it for the wrong reason.
That's why you don't want to have music in your movie.
Just a silent film.
So then
that'll be great.
Sean and the new mom meet, and the new mom gives Sean a gun.
Yeah, why? Did you know?
Nope,
no? Okay.
No reason.
All right. I mean, other than, we're using it later. So they're like, well, we got to get it in there somewhere.
We got to get her a gun now. And
okie doke.
Yeah, it made no sense.
It's so weird. Doesn't make any sense.
Back to class, he does a drawing of a turkey, just a turkey cutting off the head of a pilgrim.
That is correct. Yeah, it's his Thanksgiving drawing, because pilgrims were a problem. And the turkey, he said, he explained it at some point.
Oh, did he? I don't remember that.
The turkey's fixing it. Yeah, pilgrims are bad, so the turkey is fixing it. That was a direct quote from the movie.
Well, he's not wrong.
Hilarious.
Is he wrong? He's not wrong.
That's what I'm saying. Again, so far up to this point, I'm pretty much on Mikey's side. He has done all the right thing. He killed all the people that needed to be killed so far, and pilgrims were bad.
So the teacher realizes that he has unattached syndrome. Not a thing.
Is that a real?
No,
okay.
I don't think that's a thing. I mean, maybe it is, but
also, why is she diagnosed? Why is she coming up with answers about it? You know what I mean? She could be like, oh, there's something wrong.
Nope. He cheated
sense.
and he drew the turkey killing the pilgrim.
She was like, I know exactly what this is. It's right in the book here.
There's the book. There's the turkey picture. There's the cheating. Those two things.
Unattached syndrome. Got it.
I mean, that's all he did, right? That's all he's done.
Those are the only two things he's done. Other than that, he's basically the sweetest kid in the world. I don't
know. So then she starts to try to track down information on him and can't find any records.
Well, she goes to another teacher guy.
Oh, no, that's not yet.
Oh, that's not yet?
No, that's not yet.
Oh, that's my next note. I'm sorry.
I don't think we're there yet. I don't think that was that one.
All right.
We get to...
It's right after the turkey drawing because she shows him the turkey drawing. And I know this because he has a line where he's like, I used to draw things like this all the time, but I'm not psychotic, which made me laugh really hard.
Oh, maybe it was that scene. Sorry.
It doesn't really matter. I'm only bringing him up because my question to you, Dan, is who is he?
He's kind of...
What is his role in the school?
Kind of the principal.
It kind of is not an answer to that. You're either a principal or you're not a principal. You're either a guidance counselor or you're not a guidance counselor. And you're either the PE teacher or you're not.
He's the principal, but they didn't have access to a principal's office to shoot in. So that's what happened.
So there you go. I don't know. It was weird. I didn't understand who he was in the hire. I didn't know why she was going to him. None of it made any sense.
They're doing the baseball game and they're like shirts and skins. And then he's like, I don't want to be a skin. And he's all like, they do a big argument and we're like, oh, there's something going on with his body. And I mean, they kind of implied that he was molested.
Something,
and you're like,
they implied that they did bad things to his body. I don't know.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
But Dan, this is my second favorite line of the whole movie.
Yeah,
they're arguing over taking off your shirt or not, and the teacher looks at Mikey and says, "Look, what's the big deal? Take your shirt off," which is my new pickup line for the rest of my life. Hey, what's the big deal? Take your shirt off. Done.
Do you like that? Why did you like that line? I don't understand.
It's a funny thing to watch a teacher try to convince a child to take his shirt off. And he's just like, hey, come on, what's the big deal? Take your shirt off. It's very weird.
Each time
felt inappropriate.
Each time you say that, it's not funny. I don't laugh.
Well, it's going to be funny, Dan. Don't worry. When you think about this later tonight and you're talking to Shannon, all of a sudden in your head, you're like, hey, what's your big deal? Take your shirt off. You're going to love it.
Okay, so now we're on the bus, and I think he's talking to Ben, and we find out his favorite character is Freddy Krueger. Like, how does this kid see a Freddy Krueger movie? Maybe on video, I guess.
Someone messed up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You are too young for that, sir.
And then why not take off your shirt? Because my parents were bad.
Yeah.
Then he's in the classroom.
But they weren't, right? So here's, at least not his last parents, right? The side pony lady in the tub, she's not the one that did anything, right?
I think they're trying to say that his very first parents abused him, and that's why he's broken. As opposed to he's just a general sociopath.
Okay. Thank God we put a reason to it.
He's in, maybe somebody's talking to the principal guy, and there's a skeleton in there, and he's like, how did he die? And the guy's like, we don't know. And then we find out it's a kid's skeleton.
Right. Which is really fucked up.
No place would ever have a kid's skeleton in a school.
Right. Not a school, for sure. Yeah. Right. Maybe at like some sort of, maybe a university where you're studying things like that. No. Not in an elementary school, just another dead kid's skull or whole skeleton. That's super weird. Let me ask you a question.
But we need this for the movie. That's why it's there.
We need it for the movie because this is his entire escape plan. Were those real? Because we had a skeleton as well, but I don't think it was real.
They were real to a certain point, and then they started being not real.
Okay. You know what? Humanity, good choice.
Yeah.
That's super weird to have them be real.
Skeleton's expensive, first of all. So at a certain point, it's, making them out of plastic is going to be cheaper.
And less horrific.
It's just a skeleton.
Not if it's a real. It used to be a person. That's weird, Dan. You know what? You're messed up.
So, like,
right?
let's see. If somebody wanted to give you like a skull, like a real skull, would you keep it in your house?
No, a skull.
You wouldn't keep it.
That probably carries with it a ghost. Nope, I'm out.
You wouldn't want to have like a skull, really?
Why would I want a skull? That's so creepy.
What about a dinosaur skull?
All right, now you're talking my language. Me and Nick Cage should go splitsies on another T-Rex head.
Okay, now he meets Jesse. I mean, is he just finally meeting Jesse?
Yeah, because they talked about her earlier, but I think she didn't come home yet.
So Jesse comes in, Mikey's on the floor, no pulse, and Ben's there, and we find out that he's figured out if you put a super ball under your thing and go like this, you can feign, it stops your blood flow to your arm and you won't have a pulse.
Is that real?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's creepy.
Yeah. And
also sounds very dangerous.
I mean, is it dangerous? I mean, you're just, it's like if you go here, then you won't have a pulse here, right? That your pulse is just, the pulse is you just putting your finger on here, right? And the blood is like,
right, and you feel blood flow. I'm just saying, so how long can your limbs go without blood flow?
Let's test.
Let's test. All right, buddy, everyone hang on. We're going to see how long it takes for Dan to lose the hand.
Because can't you knock somebody out if you... I think that's
we used to do
hold. The sleeper hold is the karate.
Well, back in the day at like sleepovers, you used to do this thing where you would do this and then hold it and then you'd pass out. That was like a thing when I was growing up, was making yourself pass out, which is very dumb. Please, God, do not do that, anyone that's watching. But that was like a thing, is you used to cut off your whatever, this oxygen or the blood, whatever it is, and then you would pass out.
I mean, if you're stopping because you couldn't not breathe, right?
Right. So it's a very specific 2 points or something that you have to like cut something and then you can make yourself pass out.
I think these are your carotid arteries up here on your neck, and I guess if you do
that's why when you get your throat slit, it squirts out.
Oh yeah. Then I guess if you do that, then you're cutting off the blood flow to your brain, and then you're going to pass out,
which is not smart. That's not a smart thing to do.
And then if the other kids keep holding your hands there, you're going to die.
Well, then you're dead. Yeah, no, that's not.
That's
not the game, everybody. You let go immediately.
Did you guys ever do that in camp?
Yeah, we used to do that all the time. That was like a thing.
Oh God.
Kids are dumb, man. Kids are dumb. You ever do light as a feather, stiff as a board, though?
No.
That was a good one.
We never went to camp. I was a kid, and I was like, this camp thing was like, I did not understand it. Because no one I knew went to camp.
I guess that's fair.
We didn't have camp. Camp wasn't like this thing.
Camp's cool, man.
Rich kid.
Well, I can't argue with that. I take offense to it. How about that?
So Jesse gets down there, gives him mouth to mouth, and then he, wakes up, and then she's all like, he's all like, fooled ya. And then she's all like, you were a good kisser. And I'm just like, Oh my God. Like, talk about let's assume this kid wasn't completely maladjusted. If you're just like a normal kid, this is the point at which your life ends.
And if it doesn't, it'll end later because she says this a second time later.
Oh yeah,
like she's into it, Dan. I don't know. This kid is living my dream right now. Okay. He's crushing it. They're in the boat later, and she's like, you're a good kisser. And then also she's swimming around, and she's like, you can look. It's okay to look. What? What is going? She is coming on to this kid so hard.
So wrong.
It's awesome. Don't pretend you don't love it.
No, it's terrible, because that's how you ruin a kid, is like you get him obsessed with a girl that's very attractive and much older than them. You're just like, well, forget about it.
He'll be in love with her forever.
She goes up to her room. There's David, her boyfriend, hiding in the closet. He's been there for who knows how long, and then they make out.
I would say days, if I was just to put a number on it. Yeah.
That night, Jesse is sleeping. He is peeping on her. He climbs into her room, lets a frog go, and then flees, and then she closes the window.
Nope. He didn't flee. He hid under the bed.
He hid under the bed, yes.
And then she closes the window, and then we cut to the next day.
Yep. He was there all night.
What? We can't cut there and never pick it up. What? Did he spend the whole night under the bed and then sneak out in the morning? How did he get out of the room, Dan?
More importantly, I know what windows are open when I go to sleep.
If I woke up in my window, I would immediately know someone was in the house because you don't go to sleep with a window open.
Well, I mean,
you just don't do it.
What do you mean? You don't go to sleep?
You go to sleep with windows open?
Every night.
What floor? You're on the first floor, Dan.
Yeah, we have bars, but of course, how could you know?
Oh, you have bars? Okay. That's okay. She didn't have any bars. She didn't even have a screen, Dan. Her window's just open. Animals could come in. Vampires could come in. I mean, you're just letting all sorts of things in there.
Jesus, Tony, you're so such a scaredy cat.
Logical, cautious.
So he goes back down there looking at the fish, feeds the fish frog.
The frog. What? Is that a thing?
So he had the frog up. The frog got chased by the cat. I thought it was Ben with the frog that somehow he's gotten the frog.
It was. He must have stole the frog. I don't know.
And he loses the frog in her room and I guess then recaptures the frog. And now he has fed the frog to the fish.
Yeah. It's weird. Don't really get it.
Boom. We're back in the class. We're doing spelling bee. He has to spell the word assassin. Very weird.
What kind of a spelling bee is like? What are the other words, Dan? I'm going to need to know this. Homicidal?
And he makes the mistake of mentioning what the name of his old school was. And the teacher's there. She's all like, let me write that down.
Just take a little personal note to follow up on that.
What did you just say? Okay, let me write that down. Who was your teacher? What street was this? What city and state? But he doesn't realize he's made a mistake.
Which is weird because he outsmarts everybody all movie long. So I don't know.
He wins a marble for that. He puts the marble in it. The machine goes woo 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 bling 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 zucka 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 bling 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 bling. Here's a watch. He gets a watch.
A watch. That's a great gift. Are you kidding me?
Pretty good.
What do the other kids get when they win? I wonder. You can't get a bunch of watches, can you?
Just get another watch. You would have thought it was like
I guess it seems like an expensive gift just to give to kids for no reason.
Did you ever have anything confiscated from you in school, Tony?
Yeah, snap bracelets. You remember those?
Oh yeah.
So we used to love snap bracelets, but at some point they got outlawed. Like you just wonder, but we still brought them.
And so the teacher,
we would still bring them, and then if you got caught with them, they would take them away. It was real dumb. But here's the dumber part of it, Dan, and this is why it's so messed up. Did you have like a school store? We used to have a store cart where they'd push it around and you could like earn tickets throughout the year for doing good things, and you could spend the tickets on things, kind of like an arcade.
Junior high or high school or elementary school?
This is middle school, yeah. So I guess junior high would be the word. So 6 through 8.
We had like had like this little tiny room where you could buy stuff, and at one point, we were in charge of it.
Well, that seems like a bad.
I don't understand how that worked. Like we had like a box of money, and people would come and give us money, and we would sell them erasers because I always remember we had pencils, and they had the football teams on them. And each was a different color. Cool. They were super cool, and I loved them. Yeah. I loved them to death. And, I collected them at one point. They're really cool.
Of course you did. That was the beginning.
But, yeah, at one point, like me or one of my friends.
That seems like a horrible decision.
The person in charge. So you'd go over there during, like, some break, and, you'd be selling kids' pencils and erasers and shit.
Who did you give the money to?
I have no idea. I have no idea how that worked.
Well, I love that. Good for this. This is the beginning of your entrepreneurial spirit. It's
criminal enterprise. I can't believe I didn't steal all the money. I wouldn't trust me with money in a million years. I'm like, I can buy comic books.
Not you, but me.
Okay, what were you saying? I don't know what you're saying.
I have no idea. It doesn't matter.
Okay, teacher calls the other school. And they finds out about the tragedy, i.e., him killing the original parents.
Can they just give that information out over the phone? I mean, I guess it's, the 90s. But
back in the 90s, nothing meant anything. Now it's like, everything's like, I've been watching all these cop shows on YouTube, where they have body cams, all these body cams.
Oh, yeah.
And the cops, they like cut everybody the most slack in the world, and none of them ever offer any. These people say like the craziest things, and you expect the cop to be like, you've made a lot of terrible choices in your life, and look at where it's got you. Like all the comments we would make. They never do it. They never say anything. They just please get out of the car. Please get out of the car. Please get out of the car. Okay, now we're dragging you out of the car. But back in the 90s, can you imagine what the 90s was like? People did anything. It's like,
Wild, Wild West, baby.
You want to see his school records? Here they are. They'd fax them over.
I'll just fax them over? No, I don't think so.
Doesn't the police guy send her the police report at some point?
Yeah, that's crazy. You can't just show like normal people the police reports. That's not how it works.
By in the 90s, you could. By the 90s, they just send you anything.
Right.
It's like you want to come talk to Charles Manson with your fourth grade class. Sure, come on in. Here's Charlie.
On, great. We'll get drinks. It'll be wonderful.
Okay, so she's got more to dig into. Mikey peeps on Jesse some more. Then she's all like, the next day she's like, let's go on a boat ride. They have romantic music. She toys with him.
Yeah.
It's okay to look, but don't stare. So she's just like,
right. She's totally cool with it. She's like, you know what? I'm yours. Do what you want. I don't know, man.
He's sitting in the room later watching the video of when he killed his first dad. And the new dad comes over and is like, you should be watching horror movies.
What? What are you talking? It's clearly a home video, first of all. Like, you don't look at that and think, well, this is a professionally made film that we just happen to have lying around. Where would he have even gotten a horror movie?
I don't know, man.
This doesn't make any sense, Dan.
It's pretty funny. So then Mikey's like, how do you know when you're in love?
And the dad has no idea. He is like, you know what? I've never been in love. I don't know what to tell you, pal.
Have you seen how Mom and I kiss? Well, there's the answer to your question.
This is not what you want to look for. I'll tell you that.
He peeps on Jesse some more, but this time he's filming. They start having sex, so he throws a big rock through the window. David comes out and he's all like, what are you doing? Who did that? Are you so
He's so mad.
He's so mad. This is like the best performance of the whole movie. He is pissed.
He's ready to go.
David like kicks a cat, and then the cat runs over to Mikey, and Mikey does his business on it.
Mikey kills it. But this is, again, this kid is brilliant, right? So he kills the cat and then puts the cat behind a tire to frame the boyfriend for killing the cat.
So when David leaves, he backs over it.
It's really smart. I mean, this kid's out of control.
Honk, she comes down and she's very mad. And
Dan, let me ask you a question.
Yes, Mikey's filming.
This is real quick. We don't have to talk about it too much.
Yeah.
Let's say you run over your girlfriend's cat. Are you going to honk the horn at midnight and wake everybody up and be like, everybody, I just killed her cat? It seems like the wrong move.
If I was to do that, this would be a 2-hour movie of how I would be trying to hide the evidence of that for the rest of my life. Maybe for the rest of my life.
100%.
Right? This would be
without a doubt, that's what any normal person would do.
This would be a black comedy of how I then go about ruining the rest of my life trying to cover up my one accidental crime. And it would be a very sad movie and a movie that I could not watch.
Could not watch it, but it would make more sense than what happens in this movie. I'll tell you that.
So she breaks up with him. She's like, no more.
Which is the right move. Yeah. Good for her.
So, boom. Now we're in class. Here's Mikey. What is Mikey doing, Tony?
Oh, no. I don't know.
He's stabbing himself with a pushpin.
Oh, I didn't even write that down. That's weird. But yeah, he's just self-mutilating, which is dark. It's the darkest thing that happens in the whole movie.
I thought he was going to be like giving himself a tattoo or something cool.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We actually see the injury. We don't even ever see the injury. You just sort of see him poke himself with the pin.
Not only do we not see the injury, but also somehow his parents don't see the injury, even though he's wearing a T-shirt the next time he sees them. And they're like, no, he didn't do it. He didn't hurt himself. Doesn't make any sense.
See, I don't know that my parents would have noticed because like as a kid, you're always skinning your knee and you're always doing stuff. And I don't think my parents ever noticed any of that.
I just don't think it would look like a skinned knee. I don't think you could confuse the injury with something else.
Pinpricks on your hand. Be like, what's going on with your hand? They'd be like, mosquitoes. Definitely mosquitoes.
We had really big mosquitoes today. I don't know.
And then we sort of established that he's a genius in math.
Yeah, real good. Real good at it.
They bring in the parents again. We do an unattached syndrome. He's brighter than other kids. And we talk about the self-mutilation. And then they get mad. And they're like, you're just jealous because he's so perfect. And then
the mom says the line, you just don't want me to be happy, to the best friend. How is that where you go with it? Like, what kind of a brain thinks that that's what's going on here? She just is so jealous that she has a kid now that she's trying to pretend that the kid's a murderer? I don't know. It's really
then
weird.
We get a line like, we have Ted Bundy Jr. So,
which is correct. You kind of do.
You're right. So that was all weird. He gets home and he goes to the fish tank, and his favorite fish are gone because there were some big fish in there. Big fish.
Yeah.
What happened to the fish, Tony?
Well, she sold them because apparently that's her job.
I don't know.
I'm honestly still confused about her job because they said something earlier. The dad was like, well, that's what she does. She does aquarium stuff for people, but only in her one aquarium.
I mean,
I didn't understand.
I was pretty on board with most of this movie, but the idea that she sold his favorite fish out from under him, and that is the thing he's going to get angry about. So, like, you're going to have to develop a little more if you're going to expect me to really think this kid cares about these stupid fish.
Yeah, it's all pretty bizarre. But great, perfect reaction from the kid. Just yells about how they're not his real parents. You know, the usual.
He rages upstairs. Okay, I wrote, somebody brings somebody flowers and mom is naked in the tub.
The kid, Mikey brings her flowers to like apologize, and she's just
super naked in the tub.
Yeah, cool. It's good scene.
And then he's all like, if I tried to electrocute you with this hairdryer, I could just do that.
Well, he says something along the lines of, if I throw this into the tub, it's the electric chair or something like that. And she's just like, well, don't do that. That's it. Okay. You got it, Mom.
And the gift giving continues. Next day at Ben's, he gets Jesse a stuffed cat. And then David shows up.
Which is sweet.
Yeah. David shows up. I mean, it's like a typical thing that a kid would do, and the girl would be like, oh, this is great. And then she just throws it in the trash when he's gone.
Yeah, for sure. Except for this girl's in love with this tiny young child, so she probably kept
Until David comes outside and like puts the plays on her, and he gives her flowers, and she is back in. Oh, no, he begs. Yeah, once he begs, that's what
he gets on his knees and begs, and she's like, okay,
you're begging.
It's fine.
Good. So the teacher is continuing her research, and she's in the library, and she's looking at this big machine. What is that machine, Tony?
Oh, no. It's a ka-ching, ka-ching, and it's old newspapers. Ka-ching.
What is that?
I don't know what it's called.
It's either microfilm or microfiche.
No, it's the first one. There's microfiche?
Fiche.
I don't think so.
There's two different things. There's where there's a little film strip, or where there's like these little squares of film that you put down in there.
Which one's the microfilm? That's the smallest one?
I think the film might be the little. And I think the fiche might be the little. I don't know anything about it.
I've only seen this in movies. Never seen one of these in my real life.
Yeah, I used to do it. I used to do research on them all the time.
Nerd.
Okay, microfilm, microfiche. We got through that. Night at the pool, in the hot tub. Somebody's in the hot tub.
The boyfriend's in the hot tub.
And so then stuff goes on. What? This is the whole.
Well,
this
okay, here we go.
This is very confusing.
Jesse and the boyfriend are fooling around in the hot tub, having a good time. Then the phone rings. She goes to get the phone, but who's calling is Mikey. and he's playing his murder tape over the phone for her to listen to. It's the murder tape. And then he goes. I
thought it was just the television.
No, man, it's a murder tape because you could hear someone screaming Mikey over the phone. Mikey! It's super weird. It's the creepiest thing that happens in the movie.
That's pretty weird. That's pretty
so he sneaks over to the boyfriend, and then there's a radio right by the hot tub, and immediately you're like, this is this kid's favorite activity. You got to keep stuff away from the water. Yeah. Do you remember what he says?
No, I don't. I didn't write down any of the one-liners.
Oh, boy, you messed up. He says, this radio isn't safe. And the boyfriend says, why? He just goes, because you could die. And then he kicks it in. It's the worst one-liner out of a movie with pretty good one-liners. It's really bad. Because you could die. That doesn't make sense, bud. I don't know.
I don't know this absolutely, but I don't think kicking a radio into a hot tub would kill you.
I don't think anything that he does in this movie could kill you, except for the glass.
Oh, no. I think hair dryers, things with
not if you catch it, Dan. She caught it out of the water. Okay,
you are correct. If you catch it, you're totally safe.
I will die on that hill. That she catches it outside the water, she's fine.
But things with transformers in there and big heating elements, I think that's bad. That's bad. I think that's bad because I know if you throw a space heater in there, that I'm pretty sure that'll kill you for sure.
Why would you throw a space heater in there?
Because you're trying to kill someone.
Oh, sorry, I didn't understand.
She comes out, can't find David. David's burnt body floats up.
But it's underwater for a while, which is a little confusing to me because she looks twice before and there's nothing in the water. The third time his head pops up.
Oh no, not just his head, his whole.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. He's
all charred. They did a makeup on him. It was like I was like, okay.
That is not a Cabbage Patch doll.
No, they did someone had to actually do a makeup. You're like, oh wow. How did someone do a makeup for that day? Okay.
Just the one day, though. That's all we could afford.
Okay, David's dead. Teacher calls the cop, and he's going to fax over the police report. In the school office, she's waiting for the fax. She hears about the dead boyfriend and is like, oh, dear. Mom, then mom's up in the bathroom. She looks at the curler, I guess she's thinking about David, and then you think she puts it together.
You think she does.
She didn't put it together.
But then it seems like she didn't
put it together.
But it's really weird. I think that scene is cut out of place. I think she really did figure it out in that scene, and they just had to edit it backwards for some reason.
I don't know, because the next time she's talking about it, she has not put it together.
100%.
Then I think they talked to Mikey, and they're like, maybe it wasn't an accident. Maybe he was being punished.
Yep. He's telling that to the girlfriend, Jess.
Oh, Jessie, yeah. So he's telling it to Jessie. Yeah. There's a line, I'm not dead. Now you can, and he's like, I'm not dead, so now you can love just me. She's all like, go home.
Well, that would be an off-putting line. Yes. I'm not going to lie.
Jessie puts it together, too. Maybe. Rachel, Mikey's in love with me. There's something wrong with him.
Right. So she goes to the mom and is telling the mom that she thinks something's wrong with Mikey.
And the mom is like, nope.
Which is weird because we just saw her put it all together. But that's fine.
So now she's going to kill mom. So he has a hammer, hits her hand with the hammer.
Well, hold on. She walks in on him watching
the video.
His movies.
Yes.
And she goes, what are you watching? Do you remember what he says?
No.
He says, Mikey's Funniest Home Videos.
Mikey's Funniest Home Videos.
That's messed up, man. That's a good line because that is wild.
Yeah.
But then there's a hammer just sitting right next to him, and she doesn't do diddly squat. This mom doesn't do anything. She lets him pick up the hammer, walk over, and then smack her.
She's sitting in a chair. With her hands like this, he's able to walk over and then smack, get maximum impact, hammer on hand with chair beneath.
Like, what are you doing?
Then he takes off and he goes and he he breaks one of the tanks, and then someone tries to call someone, and then there's more hammer.
Well, he's put the phone off the hook.
Yes, he takes the phone off the hook, so no more phone for anyone.
Now, is that how? I don't totally remember rotary phones, but if he takes it off the hook, someone else that picks up the same phone can't dial?
Yeah. What happens is one phone off the hook takes the whole system out. So
man, phones were dumb.
So if you had like four phones in your house, if one was off the hook, no one can call in. It'll go like this, beep 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 beep.
Sure, yeah,
nobody
the
can call
signal.
in. Nobody can call out. You have to hang them all up, reset.
You have to find the phone,
reset the system, and then you can start using it again.
The 90s were a wild time, my friend.
I mean, that's the problem with movies today. Is everybody has cell phones. Everybody has the entire computer.
Yeah, it's so easy.
Everybody's connected so much. Back then, you could like murder a whole family, and no one's going to know about it.
Not right away.
Okay, Sean has a gun. Wait, is the mom dead now?
I mean, after a while, they fight for a while. At some point, she tries to send him to his room, which is really funny because he's trying to murder her. But she's like, "You should go to your room." Hilarious. And eventually, he tackles her off the stairs.
Oh, she goes over the stairs. Oh,
something like
two
they
of them,
both do.
The two of them go over the stairs.
They both go over the stairs.
She dies,
and then she lands on glass and gets it in the neck.
Broken glass. He picks up broken glass and starts stabbing her. I think at some point.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, it was chaos. Yeah. It was chaos.
So Sean's there. She's got the gun. Oh no! Wait. Oh no! This is the fight continues, and she said, "Oh, this is the mom." So Sean has a gun separate. We have another scene where Sean has a gun. Another scene at the bedroom. Oh God, Mikey, no more. The broken glass. Then they go over the balcony. She's got it in the thing. Sean gets to the house, or actually Sean and someone
and the detective, right?
No, and the principal.
You're right. Yep. No, you're right. Yep.
Principal get to the house. They check Mikey for a pulse. He doesn't have a pulse, but Mikey's faked out.
We know he's got that figured out.
She goes back outside and is freaking out. Prince goes back in with the gun. Mikey is gone. He goes back in, stays there. He goes over to the phone and then hits it and messes with the phone, but he set down the gun, and I guess Mikey has snuck over there while he set the gun down.
Well, you see it. You see Mikey's hand sneak in, take the gun, and then put it back like 30 seconds later. It's actually pretty fun.
So he has emptied the bullets. And so then this is when he kills that guy with the arrows.
The bow and arrow. We've been waiting for it for so long.
And then Sean finally comes back in and he kills her. Oh, he marble slingshots her to death?
I guess, because later it looks like she got it in the eye, but we don't see her die, unlike everybody else.
Yeah, so basically her final real kill we don't even see for the most. Not the final.
Well, we ran out of time and or money.
So Dad calls, "I'm on my way," and Mikey's like, "Yeah, get up here." Fills the house with gas. Oh God, he goes to see Jessie, creeps in. She says, "Go home." And then he attracts her with a loud TV. And then
he sneaks into her bedroom again, as he does, and she kicks him out of her door into her house.
Okay.
Which is silly because he can just come back in the window, but that's irrelevant. And then he turns on a TV downstairs, and she immediately leaves her room to investigate the loud noises.
Like you do.
Like you do after you just put someone in your house. It's not like nobody was there and then a TV came on and you're like, wow, what's that? She knows Mikey's there. She threw him in the hallway and then a TV went on. Then she went to investigate. Stupid.
Dad gets home. He's like going through the mail and he's like set everybody up in a tableau. So
which would be creepy if they spent a good amount, like a real amount of time on it, because it's a creepy idea.
Wait, did he kill Jessie?
No, I don't. I think Jessie's just looking around when the dad gets home because she's screaming from her window to get the dad's attention.
And he's like, oh, you're screaming from a window, but the window is closed, so I don't know what's happening.
And then he's like, she's pretty, huh? And then they go inside.
Oh, so he goes inside. Dad goes inside, sees there's a tableau set up with all the dead, including the skeleton from school.
Yeah.
Mikey blows up the house with the Molotov cocktail.
A Molotov cocktail? How does he even know how to make one of those?
Oh, I would have said at 7 or 8, I knew how to make a Molotov cocktail.
Wow, really?
From television. I saw enough TV shows with Molotov cocktails. Absolutely.
I guess those were probably more common back then. I don't feel like we use those very often anymore, Dan.
Totally a television staple.
Sure.
You know,
sure.
People always,
right.
you know, because it's an improvised weapon that anybody can make, right? Bottle, gasoline, rag. Everyone's going to be able to make that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay. Just not as fun.
So they blow it up. So basically, everybody's dead inside. So the police come and are filtering through it all, and they're like, "Well, everyone's dead." And then there's also a child skeleton, so they think that's
a 10-year-old skeleton. Which, how do they know that fast that it's 10 years old? But it's fine. I'll buy it. But
it would,
it's pretty
you
silly.
know, they would figure out how everyone died, and they would see that the skeleton was, you know,
already dead,
100 years too old.
Right.
So this would never work.
Also, how do you keep the skeleton from biodegrading? Is that the right word? Do they have to treat the bones with something? You think?
I'm sure they treat the bones, and I'm sure they use lacquer to do that. But I mean, bones are just going to sit there. I mean, bones are not going to.
Really, I don't know much about it. I guess because you dig them up. I guess that was stupid. We talked about a dinosaur skull earlier. Duh.
Well, no, dinosaur skull's not a skull, right? Dinosaur skull, all that dinosaur stuff is replacement, right? What happens is
what?
Yeah, it's not skull. It's not a
Have I been lied to my entire life right now, Dan?
Okay, what happens is I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of this, right? Yeah, when it goes underground, it sits there for a long time, and then when it finally degrades, other stuff goes in there and fills up the space. So it's not the same stuff.
What?
Pretty sure of that.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. So basically it's a rock.
Huh. Okay.
I think that's the case. Unless I'm insane.
I believe you. I'm not arguing with you, Dan. Just feel a little let down.
Yeah, like those like a trilobite. Think about a trilobite. You know what a trilobite is?
I don't know how to think about that because I don't know what that is.
Think about like a shrimp, right? If a shrimp died and ended up there and all the stuff went on top of it, a shrimp is not hard like a bone, right? But the stuff inside the shrimp lives on because it gets replaced by something.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I think that's how it works. I'll have to read up on that.
Biology.
So basically they think everyone is dead. Jesse's like, and then Mikey just disappears out Route 240 and they pick him up and they're all like, who's this random kid? We'll give him to another couple.
Right. Yep. Well, he has amnesia, Dan, so he doesn't remember where he comes from.
And he's a master of playing the system, so he's gonna be able to work through the psychologist.
The kid is smart. Yeah. I'm gonna give him that.
So Mikey too.
The 90s were a wild
line up
time.
Mikey too. We can do it anytime you want.
I can't believe we never got one.
I can't imagine this movie made any money, except maybe at home video.
I didn't look that up. That's true. Wonder if I can.
Nope. So this movie's weird.
Yeah, this movie's weird. I don't think that it's as boring as you thought it was.
No, that's true.
I was entertained pretty thoroughly.
I mean, there's so much craziness in it, but you needed him to kill a couple other people in the middle of the movie.
I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that logic, or just more flirtation with the neighbor. I'm good either one.
You just want him getting a little more action. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, this kid deserves it. All right, he's working hard.
You're still into the whatchamacallit, the kid that got all the money and then romance Duff. Come back in 2 years, then I'll be ready to be your girlfriend. No, stop.
Done and done, lady. I'm in.
Why do they make these movies? They give Tony some weird hope that some 19-year-old girl's going to be in love with his 8-year-old ass.
Just set me up for a lifetime of disappointment. Brutal.
too funny. So that's Mikey. He's a murderer.
That is Mikey.
He kills 3 people at the beginning, and then by the end, he's killed another 4 or 5 people. What did he kill?
Yeah.
Did he kill?
And there's a lot of time in between.
So he killed the mom, the dad, the teacher, the principal. David.
Yep. And David, and 3 in the beginning. So 8. That's a pretty high body count.
Kind of 8.
Good for him.
Crazy world we live in.
We don't really live in that world, Dan. It's all good.
No, we don't. Sadly, we don't. So that's Mikey. Happy Halloween. It's not Halloween yet.
No, we're just beginning.
Now, anything else to say about this movie, Tony?
No. I'll say what I need to say in our next segment.
Our next segment. Now we talk about things we liked this week, and I think I'm going first because I get to pick the movie.
Yep.
I watched a documentary about the band Die Antwoord, which is this crazy sort of rap duo from South Africa. Okay. And such a good documentary. You know, when people make good documentaries, you have me from beginning to end. They're this weird, they do this sort of, not hyper violent, but very, and then the guy sings like that, and then the woman's like, I am singing like an angel. And so it's, it's a really interesting contrast. And just like, they like went from nothing to being a viral sensation to moving to Hollywood, and just like that comes with that kind of situation. And you're just like,
nothing good.
When you come from nowhere to the top, that's always going to be an interesting ride. And then to see,
it's real culture shock.
Yes, they went through a lot, but they, being tireless workers, and that's the dude just they tirelessly worked. But the interesting,
is this like a modern thing, or is this, when are they?
This was the 2000s. They rose up in the 2000s. So I don't even remember where I watched it. It's called Zeph, I think. And Zeph is like this weird sort of South African culture thing where the people are kind of the lower class, but they have like these crazy hairdos and stuff, and just really interesting leverage of like their own culture and bringing that out in the world. And it just everybody being like, what the hell is going on here?
What are we doing here?
It's interesting to see creative people's incredible hard work get them somewhere, and then they got too far.
I mean, that's going to happen, right? You're going to fly too close to the sun.
And we also watched this is the new Salem's Lot movie.
Hey, we watched that.
I'm sorry.
It was not good.
Now, Shannon hated the woman actor. She was like, she thought she was just the worst. The little kid that survived. I'm like, why isn't this movie just about him? He was so good. That kid, every time he was on, you were like, this is a movie I want to see. Anyone else on the screen, you're like, this is not a movie I want to see.
I'm out. Yeah.
He was so good.
The main guy is Pullman's son, right?
Oh, is that who he is?
Yeah, I think so.
He plays Sentry in the Thunderbolts movie. So,
he's also in Top Gun Maverick, which is great, and he's wonderful in it.
Okay, good, because I don't know if you've seen the Thunderbolts trailer, but
no,
oh my God, I cannot wait for that movie. Right. That movie is going to be it's Florence Pugh, and she's like just about the best actress we have in the world. Yeah,
she's all right.
Tony.
What movie did we do with her again? Darlin'?
Oh yeah, she was great in that.
She was her and Chris Pine.
Chris Pine.
They were like the only bright spot in that horrible movie.
Just almost finished a complete rewatch of Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, dude, I love that movie so much. It's good.
On Amazon now, and I believe it is their #1 movie. So
it's crushing on streaming right now.
So the hope is somebody grows a brain.
I know what the hope is, but like it's too late.
It's never too late. We missed
it. We blew it.
It's never too late.
I hope so. I would love more of that world. It's so good.
Well, the thing about it is, it doesn't even have to be those same exact characters, right?
Although I would love it if it was.
Yeah, or some of them, or whatever. You figure out how to make that into a universe, because that's a universe that can go on forever. And it's 100%. The truth of the matter is, you could just do discrete adventures. This thing ended up, there's a whole city involved, but that's, all
don't need
the
it.
superhero
Yeah.
movies have to be like the entire planet will die. But we just want discrete adventures. All the little, the fucking mind flayers walking by them. Not the mind flayers, the intellect devourers. And he's all like,
Oh, that's offended.
he's all like, really? You blowing us up that way?
Well, that's hurtful. Yeah. So
and
good.
the other thing I found in the second rewatch of it, I mean, I'm sure you've watched it a bunch of times, is
I have.
they feel like us playing characters a little bit.
It feels
really
like a
interesting.
group of people playing D&D a little bit.
Yeah, because
It's brilliant.
They have enough colloquialisms in there, but they also have like stuff the way we talk. And you're like, I think it's you don't really want to feel like the world is real.
Yes.
You want to feel like there's that flexibility of that world. And that makes it so much. So you don't, like when they escape from the prison, you don't go, well, they would just get caught again because they're only a mile or two away. No,
sure.
They get away because you want the characters to get away.
Amen to that. Yeah, it's a perfect film.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good. What do you got to say, Tony? What do you got for us? I got like 12 things for us. And you got like nothing. Oh.
No. I mean, I tipped a bit earlier, but I'm going to talk about The Good Son a little bit.
Good Son. Okay.
So it's Macaulay Culkin, Elijah Wood. It's also about a murderous child. But what makes it smarter is, for the most part, he's murdering other children.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, that sounds worse than what I mean.
Oh, my God.
But so he murders his little brother, and then he murders like a dog, and then he graduates to trying to murder his mother eventually, sort of. So he's not like going up against adults that could kill him immediately. There's a real sense of foreboding in the movie.
You agreed with the learning curve of his menace.
I do, yeah. Also, again, the acting in The Good Son is out of this park.
Oh, really?
Like they crush it, as opposed to Mikey, which is horrendous across the board. So it's like a real version of Mikey. You know what I mean? Like a real world scenario. But what I want to talk about real quick, Naomi and I are very upset, is the critic score for Mikey is 20%. The Good Son is 25%. And then the audience score for Mikey is 45. Good Son is 54. That's too close. These two movies are not only 5 to 10% difference. They are a world apart. And there is something wrong with the system we are using to measure these things, because these movies should not even be in the same conversation.
Well, I'm going to say something that I don't know anything. I mean, I've never seen this other movie that you're talking about.
Sure. Great.
He kills a kid. Like Mikey, he kills his sister, but it's so dopey. And, like you say, it's a Cabbage Patch doll in the thing. I don't watch that and feel the dreaded, the concept of one kid killing another kid that's harsh. That's harsh stuff.
It's dark. I'm not going to lie. The movie's dark. The Good Son is dark, and Mikey is not dark.
And I bet you that.
So I understand what you're saying.
I bet you both critics are like, you shouldn't be showing a kid killing another kid. And
a dog, like they do some messed up stuff that you shouldn't do.
Do you have anything else that you're going to talk about?
I was just going to follow up.
Yeah.
Last episode, I said we watched a bunch of pilots, and I'd let you know if we continued watching any of them. And I'm sure everyone's curious. But the Nobody Wants This, the rom-com with Adam Brody, we watched that cover to cover, and it is delightful.
Now, is that the number one thing on Netflix? Is that what
it sure
is?
Okay. Yeah, they are crushing it. It just got renewed for a second season because it's doing so well. Very exciting stuff.
Everybody complains about streaming, puts stuff out there, and then cancels it before anyone gives a crap about it. And it's like that Chaos show, which I liked and I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I am not surprised that it's not getting a second season. It's so freaking weird. Yeah. And, as opposed to, what was it, Severance? That one, you're like, that was so good. It got the buzz, and everybody talked about it for all the right reasons. And I'm like, that's going to get another season.
And that's why I like streaming, because I understand why people get upset. Because if you like the weird things that you find and they get canceled, you're upset because you're like, I wanted more. But the thing is, they get to try more stuff. Mm-hmm. Like there is some weird stuff out there that we have tried, and some of it lands. If it lands, great. We'll keep going with it. If it doesn't land, it's like, yeah, we tried. What a fun time. And I appreciate getting the one season of a show like Chaos. Like it was entertaining, right? Like, it was weird. I don't really know if I would give it another season, but I appreciate that I got to see it.
If it, and that's the whole thing, is if it magically took off, I'd be like, okay, it did, but it's such a sort of generally weird thing. It's not surprising that it didn't take off and capture the
100%.
zeitgeist of the world that, it could, and that's why, like you say, you take shots with shows like that, but you also have to, the people that love them have to understand it's a shot.
Right.
And that was not a cheap show to make.
For sure not. No. So you had to have strong returns in order to keep that going.
It's like, how much does it cost to make another Love Island? You those things, they're just going to keep churning out until Tony gives up on them.
They better,
which is
Dan.
probably
they better.
Never.
I hope not. I would like to keep watching for a long time to come.
That was the one other thing I wanted to say is, I always say you never hurt animals in comedy, and also in drama, it's very dangerous.
Yes.
In the last Saturday Night Live with Nate Bargatze, he has one about a golf tournament.
Okay.
That, is the exception that proves the rule.
Okay,
so
there you go.
You can do,
let's all go watch
sometimes
that.
Sometimes you can do terrible things, and they can be funny.
Terrible things, Lawrence. You've done terrible things. Yeah, haven't been able to quote the Wolfman in a long time. Thanks, Dan.
Now we're going to pick a movie for next week. I get to pick, and I'm picking a spooky one. This one's straight out of the world of the creepypastas. Do you know about creepypastas?
Like pasta?
Creepypastas?
Like spaghetti?
You know what creepypastas are?
No. I have no idea.
Creepypastas are the online horror stories. So they're horror stories that sort of were generated online, and then sort of...
So like a Slender Man, that sort of thing?
On the nose. That's the movie we're doing. Okay. We're doing Slender Man, which is kind of the... Yeah! Slender Man, I think, might be the king of the creepypastas, but
it's definitely like... it's the only one that I thought of right off the bat. So, all right, perfect.
And
never seen it.
There was a show called Channel Zero, which was on some weird station, and some of the best creepy horror science fiction stuff that's ever been on television. Another show that got 4 seasons, but I think it had, like season 1 was 2 seasons, and then season 2 was 2, so it's like 4. It's a total of 4 stories. All absolutely worth watching, all based on creepypastas, and all really good stuff.
I've never heard this term, Dan. I'm so excited. I've learned a new term.
I found it from that Channel Zero show.
Okay.
And then when you look at it, it's a whole huge internet thing. I think it's a dead thing now. I don't think it still exists, but at the point that Slender Man was doing his thing, which would have been in the...
We were at the...
When was that? Probably 10 years ago?
Sure, yeah. I mean, the movie, it's from 2018, so they were probably too late.
So, I think Slender Man, when they finally got around to making movies, was too late. But we're going to... And it's, a lot of kid-driven things, and a lot of weird urban myths sort of things, when the internet was sort of churning that stuff before it now has become just a...
8% critic score, Dan. Nicely done.
Well, you're welcome. So we're gonna get some creepypasta going. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, or even a subscription, because for every one of those subscriptions we get $1,000.
Oh, we do?
No.
Just FYI, everybody, haven't seen a penny.
We don't.
So I don't know.
But
no, we never will.
We love you, and we talked about ourselves a lot this time, so you have a little deeper insight into Tony's fear of fire, fear of the ocean, but he still likes pools.
Love pools, man. I will swim in a pool every day. All right.
Until you put jellyfish in the pool.
If you put a jellyfish in the pool, I'm going to be out. Everyone would be out. Jellyfish are so dangerous. All right. They sting without reason.
That is true.
Ugh. All right. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Hey, watch it!